A little bit about laser database. As I graduated from a 3.8 watt laser up to the 20 watt laser, I found out that there's a whole lot more settings that affected the 20 watt than the 3.8 watt. The 3.8 just pretty much is etched, where the 20 watt will actually cut materials. So I went out on various websites. I went to Xtool, went to Atom Stack, Atom Stack, and went to their sites, and I pulled some information from their sites. I also pulled headings for things like that, but I also found out that every program, Lightburn, all the programs I saw were using various settings for different things. Well, my CNC machine is a Shark, and it's a Shark HD510, and in that I use VCarve, Aspire, and VCarve Pro, and they have settings that are a little bit different than the other programs. So when I went to the VCarve screens, they have a tool called Laser Cut and Fill, and they also have the one for laser picture settings. So I went in here and I took all these fields that I can put data in, and I started with the ability to capture all this information as I went. Now I don't have hardly any information in these new fields because I just added them in here to this. So, but for the biggest part, all I've been recording is the material type, the thickness in inches, and a lot of them have millimeters and things like that. Along with that, I created took this chart. You can quickly look at it, or you can just type in the millimeters and it'll give you the inches in a decimal format. So I added that here just recently. A little bit about this program. My name's Mark Jones. If you have any questions, there's my email address. No problems, no fees, no worries, and it's free. I also want to say thanks to Comment on FM Forums for helping me. I don't program in FileMaker as much as I used to. I'm getting older, and so the calculations sometimes don't come to me as fast as they should. But anyway, I do make do. So anyway, coming along there, this is a conversion table that Comment helped me with, and these are millimeters per second to inches per minute to millimeters per minute, millimeters per minute to inches per minute, and then inches per minute to millimeters per second. So you have all kinds of different, income and outcomes of numbers. So I needed this to be able to convert the speeds on, how fast they were going. In VCarve's settings, they go from 100% power to 0 to 100% speed in the setting screens, and so that's basically your format. And then what I did is I came into this point and I created a test card that matched the VCarve settings. That's available for download. I've got like 5 or 6 different style of cards that I'm doing, and so that's there. And then you got your export. You can take all this data right here. After you get it imported, there's 132 records. And let's say, for example, I was wanting to find ceramic tiles. So I type in CER, and this is the data that I have on ceramic tiles, and the thickness in inches, material prep, how you need to prep it, the power settings, the inches per minute, whether it's going to be a raster engrave or a VCarve engrave or a cut, and then you put that in there. And then if it's text, and if it's a photo, and step over percentage, like most of the ones I've done, it's just 0.02 in VCarve. In the screen over here, you have your VCarve percentage right here, step over, and most of all I've done is 0.02. Well, I went to 0.01. This right here makes a big difference in your resolution on that. And then you got your number of passes, pretty much up to 3 passes. If your error assist is on or not on, and then the program that you wrote it in, there's 20 of them, and you can put Lightburn in there as well. So, but I'm keeping track of it for Aspire. And then these are your remarks. This information is set up for, any tips that you want to put in there, and that is also put down in here in this point. This is basically that data that was there, and then I get down into the hatch settings as well. So this is just a quick deal with the hatch settings. You can also, click here and put those settings in there, and then some of these will mirror the settings that you have in this field here. So right in here. So if you keep track of it, it'll post them in both places. And then your details, and you can also Rolodex down here. If you've got notes, things like that. Let's say, for example, I want to find leather. So I type find LEA, and I've got 3 records in leather, and these are my settings. Stinks. Remove the suit with painter's tape, and then using magnets to hold it down. So these are some of the tips that I went to, and these are your leather things. So if I want to go back and show all, basically go back and it's got all the records. I can sort by the name, all the way down to cardboard, cardstock, walnut, stainless steel, anodized aluminum, to name a few, ceramic tiles, glass. And when you put material in there, that's there. This first record is just a header, don't delete it. So when you export it, it kind of puts a heading in there for, you know, what the stuff is. And while we're talking about export, this will export to just about any file format you want to call it. It'll do, we're going to just call the thing Marco. We're going to tell it to automatically open it. But these are your file types. Your tabs, comma, dbase file, merge files, HTML, FileMaker, Excel. So, you know, any format pretty much it'll do. We're going to tell it to go ahead and do just a CSV and export. And this is going to take this current layouts of fields. If I wanted all the deal, I could just say all, but you know, right now we're just going to keep that where it's at. And it's going to take all this data, and let's say we move it all over here, and then you click export, and this will create this file here, and you're going to turn your word wrap off so that it doesn't, you know, that it wraps it. So anything that's long like this will just be out to that. Basically, this is just one record on a line by itself with an enter behind it. Every field is separated by a comma, and that's why the comma is delimited. You want to get rid of the quotations, you can do a find and replace. And this thing here, you just type in the quotation marks and get rid of that stuff in there. And then you don't replace it with anything. And replace all. And then it will clean that up to just a plain comma delimited file. So without all the quotation marks, so it kind of means more. But anyway, so if you wanted to, you could keep this information like that. Now we'll just tell it to leave that alone. So anyway, so when you get ready to make your cut cards, I've made about 30 some test cards. You can take that information and put your best settings in there. I'm toying around with adding a picture of it. So if you wanted to post a picture in it, you could. That would make the file huge. But right now I just have the 2 pictures of the V-carve in it, so the file is small. But anyway, that's a possibility, but I'm not there yet. This is like the 6th revision of this laser database program posted on YouTube. And you know, as I go, I'll add more settings in here and keep my notes. So when I'm in V-carve and I'm programming and I'm thinking, okay, I want to laser etch some text, I can go to this screen, pop it up and say, okay, you know, I was cutting leather. These are the settings that I use for leather. And then I can pop back over into, you know, V-carve and keep that. So this is just kind of a quick sheet for the most common settings that I'm burning. Also learned in V-carve in Aspire, when I'm using the program, there's a couple little things. I'm going to go ahead and just jump out real quick. Jump over here to Aspire and load it up. Let's see here. That's my, okay, I'll do that one a bit a little faster. One of them's on a thumb drive and one of them's in the file. This is a map program that I've been designing. I've learned with the laser and the bits that you want to put them on different sheets. Don't put all your laser cuttings on there, because for the simple reason, when you get up here and you're doing your material type on this sheet right here, you set your material type and your save Z, you want to give it room for your cutter to come up and clear all of those settings. Whereas if you go over here to this one and you click up here on this one and you look at your material type, the settings are 0.01 because the laser doesn't go up and down, and that will save you a lot of time. So I learned this last week to keep that separate it and that kind of thing. Another thing along the same line, when you go here to your laser settings and you're cutting that, go up here to your into this field, your maximum burn rate. If it's all blurry and you can't really see what's going on, turn your burn rate from, like I had mine at 12,000 and it was just blurry. So if you move this down to 250, the thing will come in there and you'll be able to see what it looks at. You can adjust that if you want, that kind of stuff to turn out and do its thing. This is a map program that I'm doing, and we'll just tell it to calculate or preview all these toolpaths. We'll click reset to preview and then preview all toolpaths. And that is a map of all the backpacks that we've done in that area, and it's got like a bunch of different layers in it and different things. So I'm burning this on applying some hardboard and different settings for the different trails, and that keeps that in there, and the etching of the text, your single line fonts, all those cool little things add up into the laser settings. So added a couple of things to the laser settings database. Added pictures in here. Basically, I've been cataloging some of my basically pictures. I've got like 42 test cards that I've made over the last month or so. Anyway, just to record it, I'm just going to show you. This is oak, and it's 0.298 thickness, just off of the picture, no prep. And this is just a basic engrave, so we could go at least probably 100 on that. And it's a vector engrave, it's text, and 20 watt, 1 pass, air, aspire, and it's a test card. And if that kind of thing, some of these I've got that I've added in the hatch settings. Also, if you don't like the picture, you can go over here, no picture, and it'll just be a line just without that. Your hatch settings over here. If you want to go back to the picture, then it'll toggle back and forth between that one. So let's go to the next one here. Next record, and this one is looks like cedar, and it's 0.172 in inches. Prep is none, and it looks like we just did a card on it. So we'll just say speed of 20, 100, or power 20, speed of 100. It's a vector engrave, text, and 1 pass, air, spires. A lot of these settings are the same when it comes to etching. So going down to the next one. Now this is a raster edit. We will start over here. It's cedar. It's 0.226 in thickness. No prep. And these are our speed settings depending on what we want for a raster. Now this cuts pretty deep whenever you start getting into some of the power settings on it. But let's just say want a decent darkness, so we'll put a 10 and a speed of 5. Let's go. It looks like it's cutting them out there pretty good there. Let's go a speed of 60. And let's click on their speed of 60. And then it's a vector engrave. And this is, that's going to be a raster engrave. And 20 watt. Hatch settings are over here. It's a 0.2 because I know what it is. We'll go over here to the hatch settings. And its hatch angle is 45. And hatch is on. And we'll go back here to the settings. So it recorded that. And then 1 pass, air assist, spire, and it's a test card. So I can easily been able to pull these up. Also, Turo picture, I added just a little bit of deer. You can import a whole paragraph. I basically imported 42 pictures into this with the file names, just named 1 through 18. They correspond with the number there, and then the file name. So that basically corresponds. So that's going good. Anyway, it's a little addition. And all right, this is my latest modification on these cards for this test card quick. This layout's a little bit different. I changed the numbers down and dialed them in. I'm actually getting the numbers down to a point where I'm doing more
just kind of shading and not so much etching. But anything over 20% power actually turns into an etch, and you can fill, with etch. 40, you can. It's really shaded, but at 20% power at 45% speed, you can start feeling the etching. So this first row, not so much etch. You can't really feel it, but boy, you get up in here and the 30 and category of power, and that's down quite a bit. I mean, there's it's almost as deep as a popsicle stick in one of these cases. Well, not quite that deep, but anyway, you can definitely feel them. So if I was doing any etching or any epoxy, and then I needed to feel, anything I put into 30 category would definitely hold paint. Even in the 20 and these 45, 50s speeds, it's does that. And then I have the different, you know, I have the point one step over, and then I have 90 degree, 75 degree, 60 degree, 45 degree, and 30 degree. So there you go. I took a picture of that, and we'll put that in.
Imported a bunch of these pictures into a folder and from my cell phone, and these actually came out pretty weird sideways, so I'm going to paste them back into a picture editor. And there it is there. I'm going to hit F to rotate it to the right, and then copy it, and then go back into the program and paste this picture in here the way it should be. That way I can see what's going on. And then this is a piece of pine. The thing is 0.294 inches, no prep, and the speed on this looks like it's more just along the lines of etching, and we'll just 20% power, 100% speed, and this is just be a vector engraved text, and 20%, 20 watt, one pass, air assist, spire, and test card. Okay, that was just mainly for the thickness of it. Let's move on to the next one. And this card is more of a hatch. Again, I'm going to copy that image, go over and take it into my graphics program, paste it in there, rotate it to the left, then copy it again, go back over to the program, paste it in there, right click and paste. And this is a hatch fill, it's pine. And it's I'm not sure what the thickness of it is. I need to measure that one, don't I? And this one, let's just go ahead and look at it from a little bit bigger standpoint. Zoom in a little bit closer. What this might be, it'd be one that I would use for some etching. So if I was wanting to do an etching, I could go power 40 and 10, or say I was just wanting to etch it out just a little bit to maybe put some color in it. So I'd go power of 40 and a speed of 60. Power of 40 and speed of 60. And let's go in here, power 40, speed of 60. And then this would be a raster engrave. And this would be, this is the overlay on that. It's 20 watt, one pass, air assist, spire. And it is the test card that I made. Let's go up here to the hatch settings. It's setting at a 45 degree hatch, and it's got no cross hatch on that one, just a 45. So click return, go back over here, and let's go to the next folder. And again, right click, copy on it, go back here to the picture, edit, paste it in there, hit F to rotate it. This is IRFM View, it's a free program. We're going to copy that, come back over to the program and paste it in there. Get it in the right setting. And then this is pine again, 0.390, and no prep. This is looks like the same kind of a hatch, so I'd say and let's just go and have a look at it a little bit closer. Zoom in a little closer. Depending on what you were wanting, this is the 45 degree again. If you were wanting to etch it, deeply, You could go in here with probably the 40 and 60 again. They went down there really deep. So if you're just wanting a color etch, whichever one you want to do there. So let's go with a slide etch of 20 and 60. So we'll zoom out over here, 20 and 60. That's a raster engrave, and it's got the that spacing, the 20 watt, 1 pass, air assist is on, aspire, and test card, etching, medium. Okay, so we continue on with that. Let's say I want to create a new record. Let's say we'll go with a new record here, and I'm going to insert a picture, and we're going to go to on my PC in this laser settings database, pictures, and this is the most recent one, 044. There it is there. Click open, and that's it. And it's also in the wrong format, so let's just copy that, go back over to and this is a little bit different vector range, so we're going to click paste. Oh, let's see here, there we go, paste, and we're going to hit left return. This has got a little bit different layout on it. We'll go back over here and we're going to paste that in there. So there's our picture, and let's go ahead and zoom in on the material picture and zoom in on it a little closer, and there it is. Now these settings are a little different. I went from 10, 20, 30, 40% power to 40, 50, 40, 45, 50, 60, 65 in speed. And then this is a 90-degree hatch. This is a 75-degree hatch. This is a 60-degree hatch, a 45-degree hatch, and a 30-degree hatch at these speed settings. So I could actually take this one card and create, several different hatch settings on here. So it's kind of a neat setup there. And zoom out and go back to that one in there. So whatever one I wanted to do this one, let's say I was just going to create up the pine, or this is cedar, and it's 0.232 in thickness, no prep. Let's say I was just wanting to put a hatch in there, and it's a cross hatch at 40. So let's go with a power of 40 or 10, power move speed of 40, and this is a raster engrave, and this is a over 120, 1 pass, air assist on, aspire, and test card. And then we'll go up here to the hatch settings, and this is a cross hatch 30-degree angle, and it is cross hatches on, so that gives us some information there as far as that goes. And then over here on the hatch settings, if you was in VCarve and you were wanting to copy that information over here, you could do so on that case. So anyway, so that was the latest one. I've got a few more that I'm going to go through.